Good evening.
Hello, happy Wednesday.
I think we're live. How's it going, guys? So we are here, episode... What happened?
I didn't know you took the lid off.
You remember when that happened last time?
Yeah.
I left the lid off the barbecue sauce and she just tried
shot
shaking
it all over the wall.
Well, hopefully the
Audio.
audio might have just been echoing. I think it should be fine. Let me know how the audio is and the video and all that. How's it going tonight, guys? We got two tales for you. We are eating dinner. We'll get to what our dinner is in a minute. But first thing is, this is not really about keto. It's mostly about murders, crimes, terrible things. If you don't like terrible things,
You should definitely leave because the cases I was researching were like the freakiest cases I've ever researched. Like
horrifying.
I was panicked. And every time like my phone would go off or I'd get like a chat message on my computer, I like jumped because I was so into the case. They're really intense.
A lot of you guys saying you like the video from today. Thank you.
I'll keep that on the side.
Video and audio is perfect. I'm making your Salisbury steak recipe. Oh, so yeah, actually, about our dinner tonight, all of this was made for the first time ever in
The air fryer, the
air
ninja.
fryer. So this steak right here was made in an air fryer. How long did it take?
I did 6 minutes, 3 minutes, then I flipped it.
You only did 6?
Yeah,
It's gonna be pretty rare.
because 8 is like medium rare.
Okay, that should be fine then.
But yeah. And the pickles were not in the air fryer. They're fresh.
Oh, so what we
And
got
then, what?
for dinner?
Yeah, so I have, this is the Butcher Box breakfast sausage. That's my favorite sausage ever. And
Megan loves meatballs.
I made meatballs out of them. So I cut up some fresh shallot though. So I put some shallot in there, egg, so a little bit of pork rinds, and I made meatballs.
So we got, is there 16 of them?
Yeah.
She made each of them 1 ounce, basically. I don't think you measured them, though. You just made 16 meatballs.
I just made 16 even meatballs.
Then I have this. Is that all you're having?
And pickles and my barbecue sauce.
Meatballs and pickles. I'm having this steak, which I don't know how many ounces it is, but it's a bone-in ribeye. And we ordered these from a local farm. $9 a pound, but it is like grass-fed and everything, and it doesn't really taste quite as good as ones from the grocery store, I must say, but I'll give it another try here. Let's see how
Well, it's air fryer now, so it's even like more true.
I got a pickle. I got some of these walnuts that we actually soaked and dehydrated. So I might have some of those. We got one of these lime water things.
Topo Chico limes, yeah.
What are you guys having for dinner tonight? Where do you get the pickles? So these ones we get from Publix. They have it at Kroger too.
Whole Foods.
Whole Foods it's like $7 though. At Publix sometimes it's buy 2 get 1 free deal. So then it's only like $4.
Yeah, I don't think they're at Kroger.
They're not. Okay.
No,
The
and they're
thing
not
is-
at all Publix's either.
The thing is, you can't really stock up on these because they don't stay fresh forever, like normal pickles. This is going to be a real struggle to eat on camera too.
Let's see how well it's cooked.
Pretty good. I haven't gotten into it enough yet.
Yeah.
So Mega's going to start like always, but we'll give it a minute. Chicken fried cauliflower for dinner.
Carnivore pizza.
Oh, what's carnivore pizza? Is that like the chicken crust pizza?
Steak and broccoli.
What do you soak the walnuts in? Just water for about 8 hours?
And then dehydrate them.
You don't have to do that though. It's 9:30 a.m. in Sydney.
This is a good meatball.
Whoa, what's that thing called? Air fryer?
Yeah.
That actually does steak pretty good.
What a weird, crazy American invention, right?
I know.
When I was looking up recipes, There's so many air fryer recipes, and I think how old is it? Like a year?
It's really sweeping the nation.
Yeah, people really jumped on it too. Like there's like making books. There's air fryer books already.
The sales pitch is so strong because it's like fried food, less fat.
It is though, literally.
Yeah. Someone's making low carb mousse for dessert. That sounds great. The chocolate one. Mega has been looking tired in the latest videos.
Just a little.
2 p.m. in Vegas, just finished lunch.
Nice.
I wish I was in Vegas.
Me too.
What's the temperature in Las Vegas?
We have a great... When is our video that we recorded today coming out? Not tomorrow, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay. We recorded a great video today.
Yeah, you can't stand the smacking of our lips when we eat. That's kind of like the thing you do when you eat on camera. I mean, that's how I eat. I know the camera's just on, so. That's kind of the whole thing with mukbangs. It's kind of weird, but pleasantly enjoyable.
I enjoy it for certain people, and then other people, I'm like, this is too much, I can't do it. But yeah, I'm sorry about the... If you don't like mukbangs, but you like crime, then you're still in the wrong place, I feel like, right?
Probably. I mean, there's people that do crime things a lot better than us.
And don't eat food during it.
Yeah.
So you can just listen to that for sure. All right, we can get started, right?
You're starting it?
Why are folks always ragging on the way Mega looks? I think she always looks great and is very pretty. Thank you.
Because that's all we care about in this country.
Yeah.
This world,
One,
actually.
we've put like looks and weight on a pedestal. Two, I don't really put much effort into the way I look. And what you see, I feel like on social media and YouTube, is people with like makeup on and like
it's so weird to me when people leave messages like, put some makeup on for once.
And like it's also
like,
weird to me when you're wearing like a really super cute matching outfit at the gym with full makeup and hair.
That is really weird.
Cause I don't know, I guess I get like sweaty and tired, and I don't want to feel like you know, I'm not gonna like put all that effort in to go to the gym. But I guess, you know, that's what you should do.
No.
When you have like a following. I mean, Kim Kardashian does it. Oh, that looks perfectly cooked.
Yeah. I'm into the air fryer.
I love that you don't get dressed up. You're normal people. Yeah, we're normal. Bordering like weird, right? Matt is at least. He's in like grayed out.
Mm-hmm. I haven't shown him my leggings yet.
No, I really, really love all the feedback, guys. This is sweet. Matt, pick up the steak and eat it. I know, you could just bite into it. It's bone in.
I might do that at the end.
Air fryer recipes coming? I mean, maybe. I feel like what I'd really mainly want to do is just like meatballs, steak, wings.
Oh, can I try a meatball?
Yeah, for sure. Like the basics. So I know you can do like mug cakes, you can do desserts and stuff. So maybe.
We just got one. We got to do wings still.
Yeah, maybe I'll have a little fun one weekend. I ordered the Dutch oven you use. We love that. That was a good call on your part.
Did you season these with anything, or just the
natural
natural
pre-seasoned.
seasoning? Okay.
Because breakfast sausage, right?
Oh, you put onions in it?
Shallots. You wanted something fresh.
What time do you stop eating? This is our last meal, so I'm actually gonna try something new tonight. But we stop eating at like 6:30 at the latest. But I'm gonna try doing bone broth before bed. See if that helps me with sleep, because I know I've read some stuff where like 3 grams of glutamine before bed I think helps.
Like when I used to drink collagen in the middle of the day, it would like make me very
It puts you
sleepy.
to bed, yeah.
It does. But if Matt really wants to wear makeup to the gym, who's stopping him? I agree. But he's
That's
like
true.
the most minimalist. I guess that's why we get along so well. Shaved head, not like I don't do anything to my hair. Because like if I was with someone who took longer than me to get ready, and I take like 3 to 5 minutes, I don't know. I feel
That
like
is true.
it'd be a lot of time wasted.
Yeah, I don't like. I've been with people in the past that take like a half hour or whatever, an hour.
Yeah,
I don't love it, but I get it too.
Yeah, and I also don't like to like wash my face before bed and like take off makeup.
Because you're out there competing against the other girls that have just crazy makeup on, you know. So you gotta.
So I might as well just not compete. I might as well just pull myself out of the game. Is stew cooked in wine okay for keto? Yeah. A lot of the wine, like if you're making a reduction or deglazing a pan, that's going to cook off the alcohol. Mm-hmm. Okay, I want to start. I'm excited. And then I want to get to eating. Okay, so and this has been requested, and I want to preface, I'm doing the missing 411 cases, but I only picked out a couple that I really enjoyed, or like just really freaked me out. And they stood out to me. And there's over 1,000 cases. So it's really hard to go in depth into each one, but I'm going to talk about a couple, and then we're going to talk about theories and what people think is going on with these cases, which I think is the most fascinating part. Mm-hmm. Okay, so 411, I didn't even know what 411 was first. So it's like relevant information to the truth or the actual truth. So you call 411 for someone's address or something, right? Back in the day.
Wasn't there like Disney 411? Wasn't that a thing?
Oh yeah, that was. Okay, and then missing 411, like, so there's David Paulides. He writes a lot of books. I think he's written like 6 books.
Has he done documentaries too? Or
yeah. Like a decent description is missing 411 is the vague claim that something unusual is occurring related to the deaths and disappearances in national parks. So that's a big part of it. All of these cases are missing people, vanished, people who are found days, months later in national parks, which is like no private property, right? It's government property.
So the idea is that they're somehow tied or there's something going on?
Yes,
okay.
That's one of the theories. So I'm gonna, again, I have 4 cases, we'll see how far I get. The first one. In February 1977, a 24-year-old named Stephen Kubacki was cross-country skiing through the snow near Lake Michigan. Once he reached the edge of the lake, he took his skis off, he sat down, he was resting, and when he got up to leave, his own tracks were gone, and he just like all of a sudden became lost. The last thing he actually remembered was just walking through the snow, feeling numb, exhausted, and he really just blacked everything out. In the blink of an eye, it was spring. He was lying in a grassy field in the middle of a forest wearing clothes that weren't his. Sitting next to him was a stranger's backpack containing running shoes and glasses that also didn't belong to him. He hiked to the nearest town and asked a local resident where he was, and he was actually 700 miles away from where he'd been skiing in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. His aunt and his father lived in Pittsfield. So he knocked on his aunt's door. His family was in shock, hugging him and asking where he'd been. He'd been missing for 14 months at this time. So again, he was skiing in winter, blinked his eyes, it's spring.
And we have documentation that like this guy, right when he went missing, he was reported missing, all that?
Yeah. So the thing between the two of us is Matt thinks these are crazy, outlandish, and laughs at the cases, where I think they're super serious. When Stephen first went missing, the search team found his poles and his skis at the edge of the lake, and there's only one set of footprints leading toward the water, but none walking away. They had assumed he drowned himself in the freezing lake, and he had been missing for so long, everyone just like assumed, 14 months passed, he's dead. It was the cold winter time. And then the official explanation is that he had amnesia and that he was just wandering in a fugue state. But even doctors are like weirded out, and they're like, no, we don't think that's true.
You wouldn't wander 700 miles to Massachusetts by foot, though.
Because it's really rare for someone to lose their memory for that long of a period of time. 14 months is a long time. So, I mean, he disappears, he shows up. So something happened. Mm-hmm. That's one of the cases. Just really out of the box. Like, my favorite ones were the ones where they went missing and then they show up.
Okay. So, I mean, I'm not really buying his story, I guess, is what my take on this would be.
Okay. So should I just talk about more and then we can actually do theories at the end?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Go on to the next one. Let's get a few and then we'll start talking theories.
Yeah. Number 2. In 1946, 8-year-old Catherine disappeared from Devil's Den State Park near Arkansas's Ozarks National Forest, where she and her family were camping.
How old is she?
8. So she was apparently playing with her brothers near like the river, and she wanted to go back to the cabin, but instead, like as she was heading back, she wandered off, got lost. So a search party scoured the area. Nothing of hers was found. It was only after 6 days that she was discovered, and she just, it was creepy. Like, it's described as very creepy. She just walked out of a cave and in a very calm voice said, "Here I am," and has no memory of what happened to her. And she like survived off of berries, and she was clothesless. She had only like underwear on when she was found.
How do they know she survived off of berries?
She was like found eating them. And berries is like picking and eating berries is a common trait, a common cluster among people that go missing in national forests. We'll get to that as well later. But I just want to point that out.
Okay, so 6 days.
6 days. And she's 8 years old. Like, how would she have survived 6 days alone in the forest, national forest?
So it sounds to me like you're entertaining, like, metaphysical things.
Oh, I'm entertaining that hard.
I have no proof that those exist, so I'm just
What are you
trying
thinking then?
I mean, why would a person go missing for 6 days come out of a cave? Either it didn't happen, which is my primary theory. Theory 2 would be, like, the family's in on it. Maybe someone abducted her and like dropped her off at that place, but she'd have stories and stuff.
Mm-hmm. She'd have memory.
Yeah. Her memory is just like, oh, I just blinked and I came out of the cave.
And she probably wouldn't be very calm. Here I am.
So that's just like firsthand reporting of what she said and stuff. I don't know. Let me see what these people are saying. I'm eating a steak.
We're eating air fryer steak and air fryer meatballs.
Someone said comatose fairies. That sounds, I guess, like...
Dude, I'm willing to accept any explanations at this point after reading all of these cases. I am loving it.
Dissociative identity disorder. Okay, next one.
Okay. So, another strange disappearance that occurred on September 25th, 1981 in the Smoky Mountains when 58-year-old Polly was hiking with 2 of her friends near Deep Creek Campground. It was an easy trail that Polly had frequented for 20 years, so she like knew the area, she was comfortable hiking it, and she knew the lay of the land like pretty intimately. As they were hiking at a leisurely pace, she rounded a bend in front of her friends, so she like got out in front of them, rounded a bend, and then was never seen again. That was it. It was as if she had like stepped off the face of the earth. And when I read that, I was like, oh my God, the thought of that.
And she's never been seen again?
No. So her friends searched the area where Polly had been just moments before, but found no sign of her. And things to note was that Polly was overweight. She suffered from high blood pressure and nausea, for which she took medication. So it's kind of bizarre that she could have gotten so far from her friends so fast. Like if she just like ran off, you know, instead of like stepping off the face of the earth.
She probably felt, was there hills or cliffs or anything?
No. Polly's friends had been also playfully teasing her about her slow pace not long before she vanished, and her medical condition had gotten her barred from driving, so she had no keys, so she couldn't like just run to the car, drive off, like, you know, all those theories. And she was really happy, from what people said, well-adjusted, no reasons to just like want to vanish. So a lot of talk is like people want to commit suicide, they want to vanish, they want to disappear.
Okay, so is the information you're getting from all these from a single source?
No. I did like a lot of jumping around to like confirm cases and get more details. Okay. Because some sources give you like very little detail, but you want more. So a massive search was launched after she went missing, but there was no sign of Polly. Authorities were unable to even get a good set of tracks to follow her, which would have made things easier because Polly had a crack in her shoe that would have left like some marks. You know, there's wood, there's dirt, so like you leave tracks with your shoes. But there was no tracks and nothing to differentiate her shoes from other hikers. And since then, nothing has been found of Polly. She's just missing.
So is falling to her death a reasonable possibility, or it was just like a ground trail?
They scour the area afterwards. Like where she could have fallen to death, they would have searched and found her body, right? You don't just fall to your death and disappear.
I mean, yeah, I'm still thinking this is a reasonable explanation. I'm not going to like aliens.
Over 1,000 cases like this, You think there's a reasonable explanation?
Yeah, of course.
How are people just vanishing then? Only like little bits of clothes are found, or little like parts of their skull, or nothing at all.
How many people have disappeared?
I think it was 1,400 cases, from what we know, because they don't keep proper records. So I was reading into that. Like David, a big part of one of his books, I think, was how it's like a corrupt system, the national forest government system. Are you even listening to me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Corrupt national forest system?
Yeah, I'm like, that was poorly worded, but
so
they don't have like, proper records.
Okay. So in that theory, who's making people disappear? Give me some theories here. Let's talk a little bit of theories.
Okay, but there's one I want to tell.
One last one.
This is it. But this isn't a case. I mean, it's a personal experience from Reddit. So this really tripped me up.
So I can just totally discount this then, but tell it anyway.
I read really in deep. Like, the thread goes on forever. Julius, please stop. You're not going to get any meatballs. Okay. So this guy was visiting his girlfriend in Chicago. It was a sunny, calm winter day, and they went for a hike in the Starved Rock State Park in Illinois. And this is a common park where people, like, lots of people have gone missing and vanished. He's also an avid hiker, and he was on leave from Iraq. And they had hiked the park for several hours, and in the late afternoon, they decided to start heading back. And about half mile away from the parking lot, they come into an area where the tree branches are like broken and pulled towards the trail, but like really high up, so like 8 feet up. And I know you're gonna laugh at this, but he immediately tells his girlfriend like it's a Sasquatch area.
I would say that to you.
But like he believes it true.
Okay.
Because he's apparently been across a lot of Sasquatch areas, and I didn't know people actually believe Sasquatch was a thing.
Yeah, there's people go squatching all the time.
Yeah, David, the book writer.
He goes squatching?
If he's not looking at missing 411 cases, he's looking for Bigfoot.
I mean, that tells me a lot.
But I'm not discounting Bigfoot now. I'm all about it. I've seen the show too. So soon after mentioning the Sasquatch area, he just feels weird, eerie, like someone's staring at him. So he starts to look around the area, and since it was winter, all the trees are bare, so you could see the forest visible like hundreds of feet in all directions.
Can I have one more meatball?
Have as many. There was a group of walkers about 400 feet behind them, but no one was staring. They were just like walking and talking amongst themselves. And he's continuing to look around and listening, but hears nothing. So he was also like in Iraq, like in the army. So he's on high alert, and he's like, he has the capabilities to be on more alertness, I think, than like me and you would. So the sense of someone, he just like talks a lot about how it was such a weird feeling to have someone like feel like someone's staring at him, but have no sounds or anything to corroborate that feeling. So he tells his girlfriend to go further in front of him. So she goes about 20 feet because he like is weirded out. So he just wants her to get ahead of him. And he has a strong sensation there's a presence just behind him. So that's why he tells her. He turns around, and he's been turning around like every couple minutes or so. He turns around not more than 30 seconds since the last time. And there is a woman there. And she is like walking up to him fast, but something's off about her speed. So she's walking. She was walking when I spotted her, but her speed was faster than her gait. So it's as if she was like on a moving escalator in an airport.
Yeah, like a video game glitching type of thing.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm like freaked out talking about this. So she was coming up on him really fast, and it was no more than like 15 or 20 feet behind him when they made eye contact. And as soon as they made eye contact, she stopped. And he was like really alarmed, and he just glared into her eyes. And he gave her like a, what the F are you staring at look. He wasn't like scared. He was just like annoyed. Like, what is she doing? So when she stopped, neither of them moved. They were just staring at each other for like 30 seconds. Her head was cocked back to the left, and she was looking at him from the corner of her eyes.
Look just like this?
How creepy is that?
He turned back around again?
Yeah, to see her. Right? And then that's what he saw. She stopped because they made eye contact, and then she was like that. And she had a look on her face apparently of like, oh, you caught me. Like, you shouldn't have found out that I was like coming at you at this speed. And he said she looked completely normal, like a local lady in her 50s wearing a bright red coat with gloves and slacks. And the first couple weird things he noticed was there was no sound or footsteps or rustling in the woods of her coming towards him. So that's abnormal. Like if some woman's like coming at you really fast, you hear her, right? You don't just like feel like someone's watching you. She also had no distinguishing features, nothing in her hair, skin, or her clothing, so no shadows or hues like you would use to recognize a person. And her bright red coat was like perfectly pristine. So after staring at each other for 10 seconds, he felt like she had gotten the point. He turns around and starts walking towards his girlfriend, but like is really freaked out. He's like, there's no way she could have come at me that fast from the 400 feet of group behind me within 30 seconds, right? Yeah. So he turns around again and he's like, no way. And then she's just gone. And no one in the group behind him was wearing a red coat or even looking at them.
Okay.
And you're just discounting it. You're like laughing.
100%. How can you take that seriously? It's one guy's crazy story posted on Reddit.
I don't know. You are the biggest proponent of Reddit.
But
we use Reddit to start our food blog. You love Reddit.
I don't take people's stories seriously. It's literally just anyone with a computer can type that.
I don't know. And so like the first comment was somewhat maybe like some cloaking device, and I was like, oh my god, that's so creepy. So something else cloaked as a woman's body. And then
a cloaking device. What does that mean? Like we're talking Harry Potter, like
yeah. Like
so I'm still just in the normal world here. I'm thinking of
well, that's the thing we're trying to get to. Maybe we aren't living in a normal world. Maybe there's a lot out there. And then also he was in the military, and so like maybe just someone watching him. People were saying.
A couple people saying PTSD. Some people saying the weed was very strong.
So theories, Bigfoot. So a lot of counts of people saying they see the kid or the person that disappeared or vanished being taken away with like on the shoulder of a big hairy man, aka Bigfoot.
So we have no proof that Bigfoot exists. I'm willing to
that's of course, but we're trying to find that out, right? That's why people are searching for him.
But wouldn't we know of an 8-foot tall man ape existing in our national forest?
Not necessarily. There's millions of
I've actually read some decent theories on how Bigfoot could exist and we wouldn't know of it yet. And they're pretty out there, but there is some that it's like maybe it's like a population of a really low amount, like 100 of them that exist total, and they're just like barely surviving.
They move really fast. They have like special predatory skills that we don't have. They're different species, maybe.
Yeah, but it's most likely Bigfoot.
So government's hiding stuff in the national parks we don't know about. I couldn't find anything on that. That's just like one of the theories, conspiracy theories people think. Like government's always hiding stuff, right? So this is the one I like the most. Time, space portals, or other dimensions. And like, call me crazy. You guys are going to judge me now. No. But so there is a belief that it is possible that so this is physics. There's a belief that there's possible, there are innumerable other dimensions sitting besides ours or on top, below. And the cases where people seem to vanish in seconds in thin air, like Polly, for example, are found in a place that was already searched, right? That happens a lot. The theory is that they somehow slipped into another dimension and then they slip back and they're dead.
Yeah, I think that's like the most reasonable theory out of these so far. Okay. But I don't think that's what happened because we have no evidence of that ever taking place before.
I don't feel like we don't have evidence of like the Big Bang Theory. You're a big proponent of that, or fate, or like the universe expanding and contracting. Like you believe in other weird things. This is a part of physics as well, right?
I mean, yeah.
Why can't there be another dimension where another mega exists?
There can be, but we just don't have any evidence of people going between dimensions.
But I think that's what this kind of touches on. How does Polly just step off the face of the earth? She obviously walked into a time portal or another dimension.
What do you guys think about this one?
So then there's other species of predators that can lure, trap, or hypnotize us. Animals can do it. So why can't there be a set of species who can do it? Serial killers, and then suicide. Those are like the big theories. And then a couple things I want to talk about just like really briefly. So David Paulides, he talks about cluster traits, which is the types of people that go vanished. What is similar among them?
Okay.
So
I like this.
They're wearing bright clothing. It's a big attractant. Okay. They're picking berries or found eating berries. That 8-year-old girl. They're deer hunting, fishing. They're last in line, high or low IQ. It's the late afternoon, like that guy's theory, and he said he had a high IQ. Or being first or especially last in line and separating from the group.
So right there. Last or first in line, separating from the group, right in the late afternoon. When you're in the woods, late afternoon becomes pitch black night in like the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
So I think that's the most logical explanation.
But if me and you are hiking together, me and you and two other friends are hiking together, our friend Adam, he's behind us, he's slowly dragging along, we're all talking. We hear him walk off, first of all. He doesn't just vanish, we turn around. Yeah. And then as soon as he vanishes or disappears, we would probably notice pretty quickly, and we would be searching the area, and he wouldn't have gotten that far, right? Like, he wouldn't just disappear and be 700 miles away, or up a cliff, or like be found dead in the spot where we were.
What if it took us like 10 minutes to realize he's missing?
Like, I mean, if he's running off, if he's just like going one way in high pace, we would hear it, right? Like, he's not tiptoeing off and getting really far in 10 minutes. And then Paulides similarities in cases in terms of like trying to find these people. There's 4 of them. So tracking canines could not find and follow a scent, even in cases where it should have been easy. And we believe in tracking scent of dogs, right? Yes. I believe in that for sure. Severe bad weather and storms strike an area immediately after a person goes missing, and that makes searching for them harder. Mm-hmm. If a body was eventually recovered, it was either in a place that was already thoroughly searched, or in a place it simply should not have been, like up a sheer cliff. So like there's cases where like a 5-year-old boy is up like 2,000 feet on a cliff. It's like, how did he get up there on his own with like no shoes on, you know?
Okay, so
last one though.
Okay.
The bodies, when recovered, are nearly always missing clothes, especially shoes. And
one thing I'll say is a lot of the information here is from the same guy, Paulides.
Yeah.
And I think if you maybe do some reading on Paulides, you will find that...
Have you?
No, but I've heard people talk about it. I mean, I could do some reading after this, but my honest theory on this is he's nutso, and he's like trying to perpetuate something that isn't necessarily there, and trying to uncover things that aren't there.
Paulides aside, you can't deny the similarities. You can't deny these vanishing people.
The similarities based on his reporting. I don't know that those are the true similarities.
Why not?
Because it's coming from
Why would he
Paulides.
lie about something like that?
Because he wants Bigfoot to be real. He wants this to be a big conspiracy.
You can't deny that people have vanished, and there's weird things about people reappearing, disappearing for days on end, being in a fugue
There
state.
probably
like that
is,
doesn't make sense.
But I think it's all explainable by our current reality. I don't think there's...
I told you about that case where a woman and a son were sitting in one spot for what they thought was 10 minutes, but it was actually 4 hours, and the husband was like running up and down the path they were sitting on, searching for them, panicked, and they were like, what are you talking about? We were sitting here the entire time. They clearly slipped into a different dimension.
No. I think stuff like that happens in the forest, though. People just like lose track of time. Like, we don't know how to be in the forest.
Only national parks. No, but a lot of these people are avid hikers. They know the trails. Like, it's not normal that this just happens. I could talk about this forever.
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
I didn't only look at David Paulides, but
I'll look into it
one
after.
really long article I read talked about these, and I thought it was fascinating because I read a bunch and then I read his similarities, and I was like, oh my god, they all do connect.
Yeah.
It was after the fact.
Picking berries, now to me, that's just like, I don't know.
A lot of people are found dead in the berry bush.
Yeah, so if I'm in the wild, maybe lost, like, I'm not picking berries unless I'm in a survival mode, because chances are I'm going to just eat a poisonous berry because I have no instincts. I don't know anything about berries in the wild. So picking berries seems like a bad idea to me. It's like only you would be doing that in a survival situation. And
then there's 2 cases. You know Cullen Finnerty?
No.
He was a Michigan, what's it called? A Michigan quarterback. He got drafted to the Ravens?
No.
Oh, so he went missing. He vanished, and so did another boy. And both of those people, they were calling from their cell phone and telling their exact location of where they were, and they were there according to the cell phone, pinging, but no one could find them. They weren't there when they were like literally there.
They were there in another dimension.
Yeah. No, I'm not even. Why are you laughing?
I'm just laughing because I knew that's what you were saying, but I'm not. I'm saying,
How could that be? How could you improve that? Like,
how do we know that he was there though? If he was in another dimension?
Because, well, yeah, he was. That's what I'm saying. Like, he was in another dimension.
We got
in
the
the
cell
same
phone
spot.
data from the other dimension.
No, so for Cullen Finnerty, I think his name, the cell phone was pinging off of 4 different towers, which never happens. That was weird. But then the other kid, he was telling exactly where he was, and then he was later on found dead in a river near that area.
Okay.
But his parents were searching for him.
I mean,
Does Mega believe in time travel too? Hell yeah, I believe in time travel. I don't know if I actually do, but I love Time Traveler's Wife. That's one of my favorite books. And it fascinates. Everything fascinates me, and I want to believe it.
if there was time travel though, wouldn't someone have come from the future already?
What if you can't? Like, how do we know they haven't? Why would they want to tell people? That would like also alter the reality for everyone else, right? Like, I come from the future, and I'm like, hey Matt, I'm from 30 years later. You're gonna die in 20 days. Like, why would I mess up your life?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like some people said time's not linear. I feel like it is though, to our knowledge, right?
I don't know. Time's like a human like, we constructed time. Does it even really exist? Are we even here? Is this even life? Like, there's so many questions. Okay, should we move on?
Yeah, someone said the Mandela Effect. Do you guys know about the Mandela Effect?
Oh yeah, didn't we like talk about it?
Yeah.
Oh, Jiffy.
Yeah. So there's certain things that you'll think from your childhood was one way, but it's actually a different way. Mm-hmm. Like Jiffy peanut butter, it's actually Jif.
But you're mixing like Jif and Skippy?
Yeah. Or there's a Jiffy bread mix too.
Yeah, Jiffy cornbread.
Or there's like the Bernstein Bears.
Berenstein?
Yeah. It's basically just a bunch of misspellings that I think can easily be explained by that is why.
Yeah.
I don't think the Mandela Effect really exists. Or the main reason
What
it's
do you mean
called...
it doesn't exist? It literally exists.
Well, it does exist, but it's called the Mandela Effect because everyone thinks Nelson Mandela died like in the 80s or something, but he really just died like a few years ago.
Oh yeah, they think he died in prison.
Yeah.
In Africa, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's funny.
Okay.
Time is not linear. The present, past, and future, it's all happening at the same time. I love that. I totally agree, Susan. Let me get to YouTube.
Okay. You guys ready for my case? Mm-hmm. Made your guys' protein waffles and pancakes for him using Quest Vanilla Protein, and it was amazing. He did not die in prison. Yeah, that's what we're saying. That's why it's called the Mandela Effect.
But people think he died in prison.
Okay. Here we go. We are talking tonight about the Springfield Three. And I should have written this down. I think it's Springfield, Missouri. I'm 99% sure it's Springfield, Missouri. This case is one of the truest mysteries in true crime you're likely to find. Just up and vanish without a trace. Here we go.
Another dimension.
June 7th, 1992. A little older than I usually like to go, but it's just too compelling not to talk about. So there's three people that end up disappearing. There's Stacy McCall and Suzanne Streeter. These are two girls that just the previous day graduated high school. So they're like 18 years old. And then there's Suzanne's mother, Cheryl Levitt. She has a different last name, divorced from her husband. So it's Cheryl and Suzanne, mother and daughter, and then Stacy. Mm-hmm. Friends from high school. Okay, so these people will go missing on June 7th, 1992, never to be seen again. No bodies have ever been found. Completely up and vanished. Here's how it starts. Susie Streeter and her friend Stacy McCall, they graduated high school the previous day, so that's June 6th. And they were last seen at 2 a.m. on June 7th. So June 6th, they graduate high school, everyone's having graduation parties. They end up going to a few graduation parties, and their plan for the night is to sleep at a friend's house. They're just going to go, multiple parties, probably some drinks, sleep at a friend's house. They're not going to go back home.
Okay.
So and that's important, for motive of this crime, they were originally not planning on sleeping at home. The girls had plans to meet up with their friend Janelle the day of their disappearance, so the day after the parties, to go to a big water park in Branson, Missouri.
Oh, okay.
You know about Branson, Missouri?
No, I researched this case.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
You know all about it?
Yeah, but keep going. It's a good one.
Susie and Stacy decided to spend the night at their mother's house instead, because I think they were going to have to stay on the floor somewhere. So they're like, no, we're not doing that. We're going home to Susie's mother's house, and they're going to sleep there. So they have two separate cars. So they arrive home, two separate cars, and you got the mom's car is also there. So there's 3 cars, 3 women in the house, lights off, everyone's in bed. So with the mom's activities for the night, she went to her daughter's graduation. She went home. She was refinishing a dresser, doing some antique restoration. She talked on the phone with a friend, and the last confirmed sighting or hearing of her is 11:15 p.m. in the phone call with her friend.
Okay.
11:15 p.m. Julius, come on. So the 2 girls arrive home at 2 a.m. So the last call when the mother has been, sighted, basically, heard from, is at 11:15. The 2 girls, they arrive home at 2 a.m. That's their last sighting. So the actual last sighting of the 2 girls is from Janelle, the friend they were hanging out with the previous night, just partying. A bunch of people saw them at the parties a little before 2 a.m. They arrive home around 2. 2 washcloths with makeup are discovered. This is the next day. So we're looking through the house now.
Okay.
At that point, they're gone. 2 a.m. they're seen, never seen again.
But we assume they got home because the washcloths?
So now we're talking, we're assuming they got home because their cars are there.
Right.
So you got 3 cars. 2 washcloths with makeup, around the bathroom, they took off makeup. And Cheryl and Susie's beds appeared to have been slept in. They weren't made, so we don't know if they slept in them, but they weren't made. Some people don't make their beds. We don't always make our bed.
We never make our bed.
Yeah.
People always make their bed?
My mom always made me make it before I went to high school every day.
Are we going to do that?
I think it's a good habit to get into.
I'm not going to do that with my kids.
The girls' clothes and graduation gowns were found in the room, and Susie's TV was on.
Okay. So someone was in there. I feel like it's them. Their gowns were there.
Yeah. All 3 cars were at the house. Dog was locked in the house. His name was Cinnamon. It was just a little dog.
That's cute, Cinnamon.
All 3 women's purses, this is, I think, is an important detail. All 3 of their purses and car keys were heaped into a pile in Susie's bedroom. So their purses, everything they need to leave is right in a pile.
So they just strategically placed, or they just tossed it in?
We don't know, but it was all in one pile.
I guess that's weird.
That's weird.
You keep your purse and phone and stuff near your bed, right?
Yeah.
So wherever they slept.
Cheryl's purse had $800 still in it. $800 cash back in 1992. That's a good, if you're robbing the place, that's a good haul.
Taking the money.
The glass covering, this is the biggest detail in the whole case. So the glass covering around the porch light was broken.
Okay.
And it's pretty high up. Probably I'd say 6 feet high in the air or so.
So they didn't reach it and break it, and they wouldn't. And if they did break it though, if someone broke it, they would have heard it, right?
That's interesting. We can theorize on later. Why would that have ever been broken? It doesn't make a ton of sense. In any scenario you try coming up with, it doesn't make sense.
Someone they're trying to attack him with the bat and they hit the light. I don't know.
Yeah, but I don't know if they would be attacking him with the bat.
Or her. No
sign of break-in. And the girl's friend, the friend they were hanging out with the previous night, Janelle, and her boyfriend Mike get to the house at 8 a.m. the next morning. They see the shattered glass, they clean it up. The front door was unlocked, so they go in, they grab a broom, and they clean up the glass.
So the friends are in on it.
That's what your initial thought is?
I mean, you always gotta suspect the people closest to you, right?
It's weird that they just walk in, grab a broom, and clean up glass.
Yeah, I would be what happened here? And I'd ask before I was hey, let's clean it up together.
Yep. They leave. They come back in a few hours. They wait around the house, and they decide to listen to the answering machine.
Oh, yeah.
So they listen to the answering machine. What they tell police is that there's a few messages, and one is anonymous and obscene. Like foul play, like maybe just someone being weird, like some kind of weird call, yeah. And all these messages get deleted by accident.
Okay, so yeah, they definitely are in on it.
And I think the police have kind of said like it's the messaging machine was set up to delete once you listen or something. Like it may have been an accident. And another thing they report is that the phone rang while they were there twice, and they got more anonymous, obscene calls.
Then they picked up and answered?
Yeah.
And this is just the friends at this
time? Just those two. Okay. No one else received any calls or any reports of calls.
Okay.
And then at 7 p.m., family calls the police department. It's actually the other missing girl who was there. Her mom calls the police department. And it was thought like maybe they went on a day trip, something like that, but their cars were all there, so that wouldn't really make sense. So that's really like the bare bones of the case. Some additional info we got here. The mother and daughter were heavy smokers, packs a day, and they didn't take their cigarettes. It was in the house.
Okay.
So some people say people take their cigarettes everywhere if you're a smoker.
It's like your phone, right?
Especially if you're leaving at nighttime, especially like 2 a.m. when you're just up way past when you should be. It's great for smoking, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you would probably take your cigarettes.
Yeah.
It seems like they had gotten into bed. We talked about this already. More info though. Their jewelry was next to the sink.
So this wasn't a robbery. This was like someone they know close to them trying to get rid of them.
The house is pretty orderly though. So you got to think if...
That's why like there was no fight. There was no like, no
bodies ever found.
Right. And so like the girls would be easily like trapped or lured by their friends, right?
Yeah.
Because you'd be willing to go with them. You're not thinking they're going to kill you.
That's a theory for sure. So between 6 and 20 people walked through the house the next day before the police arrived. So total destruction of evidence. Just everyone's just like, I don't know, they're hanging out. They're like, where did these people go? It doesn't really make a lot of sense, but yeah. And I don't know if I mentioned this already, but the plan for the next day was to go to a water park.
Right.
Janelle, the girl that showed up that morning, was going to go to the water park with them. So there's reasons for why she would be kind of inquiring, like, where are you guys?
Right.
So now we start getting into potential suspects. That's really all the info. Pretty mysterious.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot to go on.
And they've never found no trace of them?
No. And there's not a lot of evidence. Basically, I think the two big pieces, the pile where the purse and the keys are, and the broken porch light.
And the light was broken too, not just like the cover you're saying?
No, just the cover.
Oh. Okay.
So, first suspect that pops up is Susie. She had a boyfriend who was arrested 4 months prior for grave robbery.
That's weird.
So the report of what the grave robbery was is like, it could have just been kids messing around like in high school, that type of a thing, but like destroying a tombstone or something, or maybe they even dug up a body. I don't know. That seems
kids are weird.
Yeah. And this is unconfirmed, but she may have been scheduled to testify as a witness for that trial. He was cleared by police though.
Yeah, but I feel like at that time, police aren't really investigating hard.
You mean in the 80s?
Yeah.
Or the 90s, the early 90s?
92.
Yeah.
And like, where was it? Like, you can never be sure with these cops,
It was in Springfield, Missouri.
Like, they're not going out of their way to, like, make sure these girls everything comes to justice.
The cops are definitely, people have suspicions of them in this case.
Okay.
They may be, but in every case that is unsolved, the police are kind of under scrutiny because they haven't solved it yet.
Yeah.
So then there's this guy. His name is Larry Dwayne Hall. He is a Civil War reenactor.
Okay.
He's in the area. He was eventually charged with the abduction of another woman in the area.
Okay.
When he's questioned about the Springfield Three disappearance. He admits to it and gives a full confession. He also admits to multiple other abductions. Police search his van. They find articles of missing women. They find tarps, knives, and basically like a murder kit.
Like news articles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Nothing on the Springfield Three women, though.
Okay.
His brother says he's been an active serial killer for over 20 years. This guy.
Whoa.
And it seems like they were in the area at the time. But I think basically, like, if you do a lot of reading on this particular suspect, the consensus is he probably didn't do it. He was just trying to claim a bunch of crimes to, like, up his count. Because serial killers really love to have their count really high.
Yeah, okay.
So it doesn't seem like he's too likely of a suspect, but he has a brother, as we mentioned. And the fact that there's 3 women that go disappeared, you're thinking, like, is this a one-man job?
No.
It might need to be more than one.
Yeah, for sure. But even 2 people.
2 might be tough, too.
Unless you, like, knock one girl unconscious real quick.
Yeah. Then we have Steve Garrison. He told police that a friend confessed to him, just kind of involving himself in the case, which a lot of times killers do. Originally, it was like he told information to the cops that they thought no one really could have had unless they were in on the crime. But upon further examination, it's like, it doesn't seem like there was a lot of that around. So maybe nonsense. Searches were executed based on the information this guy gave police, Steve Garrison. Didn't find anything.
Okay.
But Garrison is currently serving 40 years for an unrelated crime.
Okay. I don't think about him at all.
Doesn't seem to be too strong of a suspect, but, you know, basically since there was no real leads, they just looked at the area, like who's in the surrounding area that could have done this. And this is what we're kind of going through. And then the most likely suspect, Robert Craig Cox. He's a convicted kidnapper, suspect in an unrelated murder, and was known to be in the area at the time of the disappearance.
Okay.
He's like a serial kidnapper type of person. Told reporters that he knew where the women were buried and that he has changed it. Oh, and since then he's changed the story multiple times.
So they checked where they were buried and didn't find them?
No, he didn't actually tell them, but he says he knows. He says he will tell them. And a lot of people say this is just like leverage because he's currently in jail.
Okay.
But the story is he got out of jail 2 months before the murders or the disappearance happened. And he moved to his parents' house, which was nearby in Springfield.
Sure.
He got a job as a utility line locator. So what does that mean? It means he had a truck, he had a uniform.
Women love uniforms.
And you can pose as a ruse, like, hey, I'm here with my truck and my uniform, I have to look at the gas or something, you know?
Yeah.
So that is why he's a strong candidate. But it doesn't fully fit his MO of, he's like just kidnaps, holds hostage one single young girl. That's like typically what he does.
Okay.
He doesn't do like a full
Maybe he just want to
multi-family.
up the ante and like challenge himself.
Yeah, could be that. And then we start getting some reports in from the neighbors. This is after it goes big, like there's missing posters all over, it's on the news.
Okay.
First thing is the dog started barking. Actually, so this one piece of information is before it became very well known. Like this is the initial police interviewing neighbors. Dog started barking at a neighbor's house. So the neighbor gets up to look out of her window and she sees a tall, thin man wearing a baseball hat peeking in the window.
Okay. This is also hearsay. Just
It
like you
is.
don't believe my cases, I don't know if I believe yours.
It is hearsay. But she turned on the light, the man ran off. This is according to her. And notably, she says the man ran off. It's not like he ran, he got in his car, he drove away. He just, ran off. He's probably still around. Another neighbor found broken flowers and a pocket knife in a flower bed under his window.
Why under his window?
The guy was probably looking in that window, standing on flowers, dropped a pocket knife.
Oh, broke it in the sense like stepped on.
Yeah. So there's 2 accounts of maybe guy looking in windows.
Maybe.
Yeah. So when all of this becomes public, it's a big story. Everyone's going crazy about it. A few witnesses report that they saw the mother who disappeared driving a van in an apparent state of duress. And a man in the back could be heard yelling, "Keep calm, get us out of here." And
How could that person be heard?
Someone said they were just driving next to him, they heard it. This is very skeptical because it's after it was all big news.
And it's exciting to be like, yeah, I saw her. She was in a van, you know, to get involved.
Many other people report seeing the same van around town that day, but it seems like it's just not too reliable.
Okay.
And that is essentially the full case.
Okay.
Theories.
What are the theories?
What do you guys got? He was living off of Bigfoot meat, someone said.
People are still talking about the missing forearm, it seems.
Okay, so...
human trafficking is the one thing I saw.
Human trafficking is always like a theory on everything.
I live in Springfield, Missouri, and work at Cox. I park in the parking garage. They were supposedly buried in every day.
Whoa. Okay, so that's one of the theories.
That's creepy.
We'll get to that in a minute. First question. I have a few questions here to just get us talking. Was it a planned abduction?
Yeah, I would imagine. I don't know.
So the thing, if it's planned, is guy shows up to maybe do an abduction, and assuming it's planned, he's just going after the mother, right? Miley, come on. She just comes around to get her licks in. So assuming you think it is pre-planned, premeditated, then that means the target is the mother. And when you see two other cars in the driveway, two other girls around, does that change your plan? Do you still go through with it?
Yeah.
Okay. I would say no, personally.
I mean, if it's like a serial killer or someone who's like really out to, like, they're not.
It's just like 3 for the price of 1? That's.
Yeah, I mean, it's all like, I don't know. He's obviously has an ego. Like, he thinks he can, like, there's something messed up in his head, right? You just go for it.
Okay. I don't think that's how serial killers think, but I don't know. And the biggest question is, how could someone have gotten 3 women out of the house that night without leaving a trace of evidence or sign of a struggle?
Yeah, someone said firearms do like a lot of damage. So like, yeah, if he was just pointing a gun at like one of the people, was like, I'm gonna shoot her in the face if you guys don't follow, like they're all gonna go without questions.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
3 women?
It's possible.
Maybe like you and your 2 buddies wouldn't.
The leading theory as to why it was so easy, or the only way someone could have entered the house, handled the women, and got them out of the house and like driven away, is they entered under some kind of trust. Like they were either a cop or they were someone doing, you know, like looking at the power lines or like a gas leak, something like that. That's a leading theory. Did they have a weapon? That's another question. And then how could they have been transported from the house in a vehicle, likely against their will, without arousing suspicion or attracting attention?
Again, like a shotgun in my face, I'm not, a lot of people aren't risking that.
But even at the point where you're like getting out and you're seeing like you're starting to drive into nature, I think at that point you got to make a move, right?
I don't know, not like if the guy has a gun on your face and he's like, Mega, if you make a sound, I'm going to shoot Matt in the face. I'm not going to make a sound. If
I'm in that situation, at some point I'm making a move. I'm not just going along with the plan.
A lot of women aren't. A lot of people aren't.
You got to make a move. Going along with the plan never ends well.
But most people do from the crimes we see, right?
Sometimes. No, I think a lot of people make a stand.
Fight back? I don't know.
Okay, theories. Police's top theory is a single man used a ruse to gain access to the home, possibly something like a gas leak.
Right.
So that is their theory.
Okay.
That's what they're going with right now. That's like by far the leading theory. The other few is sneak in and disable them one by one.
How?
I don't know. Could be like injection, could be just gun, like be quiet, tie their hands.
I don't know.
That one seems less likely.
That doesn't seem plausible.
And then the worst theory, in my opinion, but one that has gained a lot of traction, is a psychic says they are buried under the Cox South Hospital parking garage. That's what one of the commenters was saying. She works there. So when they disappeared, this hospital was under construction, at least the parking garage was. And they brought in like a 9/11 analyst, someone that created some device that would like find bodies that are buried in the wreckage.
Okay.
And he scanned the parking garage and he found 3 anomalies.
Okay, but they didn't want to like take out the construction.
No, they never ended up digging it up.
Yeah, they didn't want to like ruin it.
Which I think is understandable. Some people are outraged that they never dug it up. You don't have to dig it up though. You just have to take a sample. Mean? That's the thing. It's like 3 weird things somewhere in the concrete.
And did he know going into this he was looking for 3 women?
I think he did, yeah.
Okay. Like if you didn't give him any knowledge and then he did that, then it's like different.
Yeah. All you have to do is take a sample though, a core sample.
Okay.
But I also, like, people are outraged that they haven't done this, but I'm totally on the side of not just taking core samples whenever some psychic says, you know, do a core sample at the garage.
I think they should have.
You do?
Yeah. I think that just goes to show, like, how this entire case was conducted. What
checks all the boxes? People on Reddit would say it is a cop car. Cop car shows up, ma'am. I'm going to need you and your 3 daughters to come down to the station for questioning.
Smart.
That is the best theory as to how someone easily gets 3 women into their car. So it's either a cop or someone impersonating a cop?
It outrages me the amount of people that just listen to cops willy-nilly.
I think you should kind of listen to cops, but
no.
I mean, at some point,
the movie.
Yeah, I do remember that. At some point, when things get over the top, you gotta start.
I mean, if there's no reason for you to get in the cop car and go to the station, like if he can't
I'd be
justify,
like, am I arrested? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, I would say I'm not going to go unless you give me like reason, probable cause of me having done something.
Yeah. One other thing is, this is unconfirmed, but the mom may have recently broke up with a boyfriend, and the reason people are looking into the backstory of the mom is because it was assumed that she would be home alone that night, whereas she's not typically home alone. Oh. So maybe someone wanted to get revenge on her. But to me, when you like see the 3 cars, maybe you don't even notice there's 3 cars in the driveway. But if you somehow know there's 3 people there and you're just after the mom, if you still can, I think you would back out of the whole plan.
What if that's your only shot? What if you're like putting all their eggs in that basket?
I mean, you got plenty of shots. You can come back tomorrow or come back some other night.
She's not normally home alone though. This was her one night, and he was ready. He had all the stuff. He had a plan. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's a big thing to like. You don't just back out, right?
I think you do back out. Yeah.
Normal people back out, but this is clearly not a normal person.
Are we getting any comments on theories?
Not a ton.
99% of the time it's someone they know?
Yeah, that's what I would say. So, they definitely would have still taken the purse and the phone and the money. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, if they're going to the police station? Yeah. So the best theory then, because the purses are piled up, you think someone gains access to the house as a friend, but then once they're in, it goes to being a hostile situation.
Why are
everyone pile up the purses. Put your purses in a pile. Right?
Someone's ready to do this.
So
porch light seems like someone not going with the impersonation strategy. Yeah.
Yeah, the porch light is pretty unexplainable. I don't have good theories on that.
Well, the light wasn't broken, just the porch thing.
Yeah.
And all these messages being accidentally deleted, and like them just cleaning up the porch light and then leaving and then coming back, like Janelle.
So you got to talk about Janelle then. She's the last person to see the 2 girls. First person to arrive the next day.
Oh yeah, it was 92. No real cell phones. I'm sure they didn't have any.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's just purse.
Okay.
You would still take your purse and cigarettes though. She started calling, Janelle started calling the 2 girls the next morning at 7:30 a.m. when they were last seen together at 2 a.m. So that means she got 5.5 hours of sleep.
Janelle?
And she's just up and ready, like calling them at 7:30 a.m. That's a little weird.
Why is that weird? You're going to an amusement park. You're super
But it's not
excited.
till later on in the day.
You're stoked.
Okay, maybe that's true. They're excited for the...
Yeah, they were like 18-year-old girls.
Yeah, and then she just did a lot of suspect stuff.
But it could have been like her covering up her tracks, right? Like
could
just
have been.
Alibi.
Cleaned glass, accidentally, in quotation marks, deleted voicemails, and then answered other calls. So the only reason the cops would have to suspect...
Can they prove that the calls actually came through? Like, did
no,
they look at the calls?
No, they can't prove that.
This is just all word of mouth.
Yeah. So all 3 things that potentially point to foul play, the broken thing, the broken porch light, the 2 calls, the voicemail and the call, those are all could have been generated by Janelle.
Connected to her.
Yeah. And then when she was talking to the cops, she pretended to be better friends than she really was with the girls. It was
what
like,
would her motive be?
motive to kill them? Yeah. Doesn't really make sense. And it also doesn't make sense how she could control 3 grown women.
Right. That's why it was like a friendly thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like they got in the car willingly with her because she's a friend.
Yeah, so now I'm just thinking of new theories. Like maybe at the party, Janelle like did something, poison them somehow.
But they came home and washed their faces. They were able to drive, so it would have been like poison that kicked in a long time afterwards.
Yeah, I guess not. I don't know. And then the one last thing is maybe the person came in to get the mom in that window of time where the girls were gone. Something was going on in there with the mom when the 2 girls arrived home.
Oh, I see.
But then it wouldn't really make sense if they like cleaned up and stuff, unless he positioned the mom in bed like she was sleeping. 2 girls, did their all that. Then
or
he
they
attacked.
didn't. They were just like, "Hey, mom, I'm home," and then went to their room.
Yeah.
Like, you don't always check in.
Yeah. That's pretty much the whole case. I think the strongest theory is probably just
Janelle.
No, for me, I think it's a foul play. Someone comes in with some kind of like costume, pretends to be checking a gas leak, and then abducts them.
And Janelle was cleared?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, that's it.
That's the case. We got any theories over here? What's going on,
Killer
guys?
already killed the mom. When the girls got home, he waited for them to fall asleep, went in and killed them. How did he kill them, though?
I would have to assume the killing was not at the house. They drove, maybe even like were held captive and then killed. I think Janelle makes sense. Janelle or the cops. Say some people.
Strangled them. A lot of people think it's human trafficking. Is that a serious thought?
I mean, yeah, people say human trafficking is like always kind of a theory. There is a lot of cases where like there's just a kid like is outside in the front yard playing.
Also, yeah, if this happened in the middle of the night, why would someone be checking the gas meter? At least that says.
Yeah, that is a thing. Yeah, you wouldn't think they would be, but if it's an emergency.
I'm not, no. I'm not letting someone in. I guess we have let someone in. Remember when your sister left the gas on? The stove?
Oh yeah, wasn't it the fire department though?
No, it was gas. Oh, I don't know.
I think it was the fire department.
But they could have just been dressed up as fire department people. You never know these days. It's always human trafficking.
I mean, at this day and age, if someone knocked on my door at 2 a.m. and was like, "Hey, emergency, we got to escort you, we got to quarantine you," I would be like asking for
I'm not
ID.
going. I'd be like,
probably not going.
Where's Rodrigo, the neighbor? I want to go with him.
Yeah.
I would not let go. I don't think I would answer the door at 2 a.m. if I'm being honest. I would go run to the kitchen and grab a knife. And then
I'd be scared to start with.
2 a.m. is like a weird time for someone to come.
So, this is a tough one. This is like one of the most mysterious ones where there's not even a real strong lead of what could have happened.
Springfield, Missouri is a hot spot for confirmed trafficking.
So is everywhere.
Is so everywhere though? Is Atlanta?
It's all over the airport. You didn't eat
It's
very
all-
many meatballs.
It's all over every single airport.
You didn't eat many meatballs.
You didn't eat many meatballs.
I ate 4.
I ate 4.
I thought you were gonna have like 10, or else I would have ate more.
You could eat more.
They're cold now. I think it's Janelle and the thin dude. Could have been sitting in wait. I live there. No, it's not, said Jessica.
No evidence of struggle.
In or around the house with 3 women. The only evidence is the porch light. They could have been in the house or around the immediate grounds when abducted. I think they were definitely in. Oh, you're talking about the guy that did it, whoever did it, or are you talking about the people that got abducted?
The guy that did it, I would imagine. So do you genuinely like your case better than mine?
Do I like it better? What do you mean?
Like, your case was boring compared to the missing 411s.
I mean, mine. No, I like mine better. Mine's more mysterious. Yours is just some guy
Mine's
saying
is
random
so
crazy
mysterious.
stuff. Yours is mysterious, but who knows the validity of it?
That's what makes it even better. There's so much more to theorize on. This one's like, who cares?
I care. That's good. It's a good one.
No sign of struggle. Yep. And nothing was ever found of theirs, right? Like no clothes, no teeth, no bodies.
Nope, nothing.
So like, clear. I don't know. At that point, are you just not looking hard enough, like the cops, or is the killer really good at hiding bodies? Like, and where are you hiding them? Where are you burying them?
Yeah. That's it.
All right, guys, this was fun. We'll see you next week.
I want a job eating meatballs, said someone.
Come over. You got it.
I'll look more into the missing 411 cases for the start of next time.
Yeah, so this was fun.
All right, that's it. We'll be back tomorrow with a video. See you guys.